Okay. We are live. I got a little antsy, so I decided to begin early here. And it looks like so. Bear with me. This is my first time ever doing a live stream. I'm doing this through the YouTube studio, so the YouTube platform directly. Maybe later on I will switch it up a little bit. I hope the mic is good and you can hear me well. Don't want it to fully cover my face, although that's probably better for everybody. Welcome. My name is Joe Polyak, and I will make this introduction here because this is my first ever live stream and give you my summarized version of my life story. Joe Polyak, born and raised in San Francisco, California, grew up between the Richmond district and Western Addition, Fillmore, back and forth between grandparents' house and mom's house and moving and all of those things. My mom came from Kiev, Ukraine. She migrated from Kiev, Ukraine when she was about 7 months pregnant. She landed in San Francisco, California. Back then it was the Soviet Union, 1989. And that's when I was born a few months later after she arrived. I was born and raised in San Francisco. I'm what you would call a San Francisco native. We are pretty rare and you don't run into a lot of us. And San Francisco really is a very small town when you take into account the small number of people who were born and raised and grew up here. And about 10 years ago, I moved to San Mateo after spending my whole life in the city of San Francisco. I moved to San Mateo County and the city of San Mateo, and I lived in Belmont for a little while. And now my wife and I, we bought our forever home a couple of years ago and are basically here to stay in the city, the beautiful city of San Francisco, San Mateo. Sorry. It's 10 a.m. Got to take a sip of coffee to get started. And so, why should you watch this channel? Why should you care about me? And so, I'm going to bring that perspective, my life story, my life's perspective to real estate. I am a real estate agent, real estate broker, realtor, whatever you want to call it. I buy and sell homes for clients, single family homes, condos, 2 to 4 units, TICs, townhomes, residential real estate lots, land sometimes. I live here in San Mateo. Our office is here in San Mateo, but I do sell quite a few homes in San Francisco and really all over the San Francisco Bay Area. I have a new niche things that I do. And so I work with probate and trust sales and estate planning attorneys. Hold on. Hey, Rachel, a guy might come in real quick to give us something. His name is Ahmad. I'm on the live stream, so just say what's up. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. My specialties, what do I specialize in as a real estate broker? I specialize in working with probate and trust sales. And so helping people who maybe are out of the area or people who, a loved one passed away or a friend or relative or something passed away and they are handling the estate, they're handling the trust, and they have to sell a property. And so I specialize in helping people all over the San Francisco Bay Area with that. It's that niche is kind of like a project management kind of a thing. So in addition to just listing and selling a home for sale, I kind of act almost like a general contractor in that I manage different subcontractors and painters and floor guys and stagers and cleaners and a lot of vendors associated with prepping and selling a home. And I also have a niche of working with assisted living facilities and senior placement folks and just people who deal with seniors who maybe get to the point where they've lived in a home for a long time. And it is about time to sell that property. Maybe they need to move into a assisted living facility or a 55 plus community or something like that. And so, again, there's a lot of project management and handholding and a lot of extra work that goes along with that. So in downsizing the individual and working with the family to handle all of the personal items and things like that. So those are kind of a few of my niches. And, of course, just growing up here, and my wife is my business partner. Her name is Valerie. And she is my business partner. And between the two of us, being born and raised in the San Francisco Bay Area, she grew up in San Mateo, and her family is multi-generational San Mateo Belmont natives. Basically, they've been here for a very long time. And so between the two of us and our networks and growing up here, we also just do a good amount of business and help people buy and sell homes through just our networks and living here. So not necessarily a probate and trust sale or working with seniors, but just maybe just regular, a little bit more regular sales as well. So anyways, that's a little bit about what I do day to day. I help people, I work with clients, I tour properties, I do the traditional work of a real estate agent, what they do. So the purpose of this live stream that I'm going to start doing weekly is to bring my perspective as a boots on the ground in the trenches real estate broker who works with clients, works with other agents, and is in the marketplace regularly. I am going to bring that perspective, that unique perspective, to current events in the San Francisco Bay Area. Stuff happening with developments, stuff happening here. I got a couple of articles here that have been in the news, different things that are just happening in the local market and with current events, maybe a little bit political, maybe a little bit related to, new developments and building and things like that. And, some of the hot headlines on the news, and just see how that might affect, in my opinion, our local real estate market and what should be done. Let me see if or what's going on and things like that. You see, there's a green screen behind me. It's because I make videos all the time. Sorry, you got to bear with me because this is my first live stream, and just want to, and we're gonna have a little bit of trial and error here. So the green screen behind me is because I make videos all the time and post them on YouTube. So please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, follow us, follow my channel. It's my wife and I, and sometimes members of my team, when I can get them off their butts to create a video for me every now and again. Hope you guys are watching, listening, because I need you guys to get to work. So we do a weekly video, at least market update videos, neighborhood tours, local business spotlights, things like that, as it relates to just lifestyle, living in the San Francisco Bay Area, selling the real estate market here in the area. And so we make these videos, and I have the green screen behind me for that reason. So, okay, let's just jump right into it. You've got a really, really long introduction. This is going to be the last time that I do this. So if you want to learn more about me and why I do this and what the purpose of this video is, or these live streams are, then you can watch this first video. But aside from that, we're just going to jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. And you know what? I'm going to share the entire screen and go from there. Cool. Okay, look at that. That's horrible. All right. That looks better. All right, let's jump into the first piece of news that we got here. So Sam Altman thought he'd bought a $27 million home with a bat cave. Lawsuit says it's a lemon. So to summarize, basically what happened is a lot of these very wealthy folks will buy properties, these, 15, 20, 25, 30, $40 million homes, the Steph Currys of the world, the Sharon Salzberg of the world. I think that's her last name, Sam Altman, obviously. They will buy these properties under an LLC due to, obviously privacy concerns and doxing and all these kind of things. They don't want people to know where they live. So they'll buy, it'll be like an LLC owned by a management company, owned by an LLC or whatever, so that it's very difficult to discern who owns what, right? So a lot of these ultra wealthy people buy properties like that. At the end of the day, the investigative journalists, God bless their soul, there's not enough to report on. So of course they do the digging for all of us who are interested to find out who bought that $30-something million home. And they will let us know that it turns out that Sam Altman and LLC associated with him owns this property. Interesting little fact is that I sold a home earlier this year that it was just basically two doors down from this property. So if you see this picture here and you see the trees above it, and actually I didn't even notice this before, but I sold this home right here. Sorry, I'm getting super loud for you guys. I sold this home right here. So that's really, really cool. I just noticed that. And so there's a big tree here, and there's like a corner rooftop here. And I was standing over the rooftop, and my wife and I were looking at this and looking at the yard and looking at this really cool house. She's like, I think that's Sam Altman's house. So I sold this house, and I was looking down on his yard and everything. It was really, really cool, and just like really nicely manicured lawn and beautiful, brand new. And the look at this Florida window, Florida ceiling windows, and just it was really gorgeous. And private garage, and I never saw anybody over there. And I spent a lot of time over there. Even after we sold the house, we were in escrow. I just hung out on the roof. It was just beautiful view, Salesforce Tower. Um, you could see Alcatraz and the Golden Gate Bridge on the other side. You can see, everything basically. Coy Tower, beautiful views of San Francisco, everything. So, interesting fact. So the point here is that Sam Altman buys a $27 million house, almost $30 million house. Look at this. Oh, cool. They have a beautiful video of it and everything. And so now they're suing the developer, who I guess, if you read this article, has a, where is this here? I'm sorry, Seralta, I think is the name of the developer. Sorry, guys. Sorry for putting you a blast, but San Francisco Standard did it. So anyways, don't blame the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. So this developer is being sued by this LLC connected with Sam Altman because they're claiming in the lawsuit that the home is a lemon. So basically, there was a lot of there's this beautiful pool. I think the biggest thing is that there's this big, beautiful pool somewhere here where I don't see anywhere, but there's a big, beautiful pool somewhere here, right? And basically, that pool started leaking into the subflooring or the whatever, the basement area below it or somewhere around it. And just look at this. It says it right here. I'm just going to read this. Several more construction problems emerged over the past few years, including an improperly installed line dumping raw sewage on the property and an incident in which bags were jammed into a sewer line by a disgruntled unpaid contractor, the lawsuit alleges. So that's pretty common in new developments too. Like when there's a big development project and the general contractor hires subs, and then there's a dispute, they don't pay them, and a different random maybe subcontractor does a in Russian. I speak Russian, by the way. I don't know if I told you guys this is a child language. I don't know what the English word for it is, but pakist. It's like just doing just something to just give it to the person, right? And so that happens all the time in different jobs, and I've seen faulty windows and other issues that happened. So it looks like that happened here. Marin and his firm were aware of the design construction flaws, but misrepresented that they had been addressed in order to sell the home more quickly, the suit claims. So maybe they knew about all these issues with like raw sewage going on the property. And they just went ahead and sold it. And, that's not above anybody to do. I mean, that's just, you're making something for a profit. You build a house, you buy this piece of land, which probably, I don't know, they bought for $5 to $10 million bucks. And then they put in another $5 to $10 million to build this home. And then they sold it for a profit of, some are hoping for making a profit of $5 to $10 million, which is pretty good profit if you're thinking of a 2 to 3 year construction time and dumping in 15 to 20 million into it. So that kind of makes sense. The lawsuit claims that repair costs of the property will exceed $4 million. A permit filed with the city in February listed $250,000 costs for exploratory demolition work related to a leak investigation. Troon Pacific and Marin have been the subject of several lawsuits over claims of shoddy workmanship and fraud in the home sales process. This year, the company was ordered to pay back $48.1 million to investors who helped fund the renovation and sale of 4 luxury properties in the city. Only 2 of the homes were completed, while Marin and his company earned millions in fees. So let me see how I close this. Sorry, Sharon. There we go. Got you. Okay, so here is, I guess, the biggest lesson that you can and should learn from this. is that even the wealthiest of the wealthy are not above getting majorly ripped off. Okay. And when you're buying a new home, okay, just as when you're buying a older home in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, many of our homes were built in the late 1800s, Victorian style homes, and 1910s, and in the early, the turn of the 19th century, I guess it would be called. We have a lot of old homes. And as a real estate broker, one of the things that I do is I tour properties with my clients, um, do very detailed analysis of the inspection reports that are obviously provided, or that are oftentimes provided to us by the listing agent in what's called a disclosure package. Review those inspection reports, walk through with my clients in detail, bring contractors through before making an offer. Do a really detailed analysis of a property and walkthroughs multiple times to make sure that they're not buying something that they're not fully aware of the risks and the potential costs and all of the potential issues associated with buying a property. That they're buying for 1 million, 1.5, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million and more dollars. Okay. So I don't know the situation involved, but a lot of times these kind of sales are off market. They're private sales. Obviously, we talked about privacy in advance. And so these private sales that happen, these private sales happen. I don't know the context of who the brokers involved. Sometimes it is double-ended by one agent, one broker representing both the buyer and the seller. And in this scenario, we don't know exactly how many people, how many brokers were involved. But for me, I would think that even a new development as a real estate broker, and when you have this kind of money, when you're buying a $27 million home, not just hiring a broker, not just hiring inspectors, but hiring, other types of professionals. I guess I don't know what else other than inspectors or a real estate broker, but having other professionals on your team to double check, to go through, to do really detailed analysis of properties. I feel like this should have been discovered. I don't think like black mold and leaks and raw sewage spilling in, even if a house has not been lived in, I feel like there's a lot more that can be discovered. And by the way, a new development like this has a warranty per the state of California. For new developments, I don't know if this applies, if it's just like a 1 year or if it's a completely brand new development, if it's the 10-year warranty, the SB, whatever it is, I forgot the number already. So I feel like, before it gets to this point, there are other things that you could have done before buying the property and due diligence that could have been done. And they may have done it. They may have done the due diligence. They may have known this stuff was happening during the warranty period. May still be in the warranty. And the developer just says, you're SOL. We cannot help you out, and we're not going to help you out. And hey, guess what? We're actually bankrupt now. And the LLC or the construction company, the developer, we're closed for business. And that's it. Sorry. So that could have happened. So anyways, even the very, 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 very wealthy are not exempt from getting very strongly ripped off and buying a lemon and buying something. So you think that Sam Altman works his butt off, has become the leader of one of the most successful, biggest companies in the world, and buys a $27 million house and can just chill and relax on a Friday night and have a glass of whiskey and a cigar and sit by his infinity pool or whatever it is and not smell raw sewage. Think again. Even they have to deal with stuff like that. Okay, great. What's next on the docket? Okay, so now we have, I'm going to try this and I'm going to talk like this, and I'm usually going to shoot for about an hour. And so if you get sick of listening to me, get sick of this, obviously the free market will tell us whether or not what I'm doing is valuable. So I'm going to stay consistent with this. I'm going to make these videos. I'm going to give you my perspective. I'm going to try to make some jokes. I'm going to just talk about San Francisco Bay Area real estate in general, what's happening in the San Francisco Bay Area, the market, current events, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe a little bit of local politics, but I'm going to try to keep it pretty objective and moderate in my approach, to not alienate too many people. Although it is impossible to not alienate anyone when you have any kind of opinion about anything or you're talking about anything of substance. So if you do get alienated by my, or upset about some of my opinions, well then, sorry. So I'm going to try to keep these about an hour. So I will be consistent with these, and hopefully I provide value, and hopefully this is something people want to watch and care about. And if they do, then we will see that by the number of subscribers to my channel, the number of viewers of this live stream continuing to go up. And if not, then at the end of the day, it will just be me talking to myself, or maybe just a couple of folks, and and just learning more about what's happening in our local areas. So, okay. Next one, I'm going to do the share screen one more time. Okay. Entire screen and share. So you're going to see this never-ending infinity screen right here. Great. Okay, so now the next piece of news here. What Elon Musk's Texas relocation plan for SpaceX X headquarters could mean for California. Elon Musk making worldwide headlines and again putting California in the spotlight. Okay, so this is because when he moved Tesla out of California, supposedly. So I think we'll hear a little bit more about that, but I think that didn't really. Tesla moved out their headquarters, but I don't think any jobs were lost. I still think all the factories, everything is still here. So Musk saying and Tweety plans to move the headquarters, both X and SpaceX, out of California to Texas. It's because of California Governor Gavin Newsom signing the new law that does not require school employees to tell parents if their child changes the gender they identify with. He tweeted on Thursday, "This is the final straw. I'm moving us out. SpaceX is leaving Hawthorne, and X, which I think headquarters is in San Francisco, downtown San Francisco, the old Twitter building where Musk famously brought in his spitting all over the place, man. I need to drink some water. I don't drink water before noon. It is straight black coffee, and shout out to the wonderful, wonderful folks here at Sight Glass Coffee. The original one, I think, is on 7th and I want to say not Howard, not Folsom, Harrison. Yeah, something like that. In Soma, South of Market District. Love their coffee. I'm a big coffee. I wouldn't say snob because I can drink all coffee. I'll drink Folgers if you throw it in a cup, and it is what it is. But I do love to make, it's like fun for me to make a nice cup of fresh pour over every morning where I weigh my beans. I have fresh beans that have been recently roasted from a place like Sight Glass or Ritual, or I think it's 4-barrel or 10-barrel. One of those is beer, one of those is coffee. Shout out to whatever that other one, 10-barrel, I think it is, in Portland, Oregon. I'm a big foodie. I love anything that is consumable. I really love, and I love to optimize the consumable nature of that. So I weigh my beans. I have a specific temperature of the water, 197, 198 degrees or whatever. I have the ratios all lined up, all dialed in, and I enjoy really delicious, great coffee. And I do that with everything that I do, from the meats that I barbecue and cook and the way that I barbecue and cook them, and optimize that to, eating out. And anyways, you didn't join this channel to hear about that, but maybe you did, because being born and raised in San Francisco, we really gain an appreciation for the artisanal, for the small batch, for the local mom and pops, for just all of these, we're not big box people, and I noticed that in Portland. I noticed that trend exists in Seattle. And honestly, I used to be such a San Francisco elitist, San Francisco supremacist. You think we're the best and everybody else is an idiot, and I think New Yorkers experience that too. But then you travel around the country. I've been to Omaha, I've been throughout Florida, I've been throughout Texas, I've been throughout a lot of areas. And maybe they're not, not all areas are equally the same way. Louisiana, all these kind of places. And not all areas are equally so, the same in a lot of ways. But I feel like when I've explored all these areas and then I tried their local beers and their local small batch artisanal mom and pop places, we're not that much different. And, San Francisco isn't the only place in the world that does that. And, in the world, everybody is proud of their local stuff, and optimizing their local food and their local drinks. And anyway, that's me on my sidetracking to tell you that I love my morning cup of Joe, no pun intended. So, Elon Musk, okay. What we have to be really clear of here is not to overread it. He said he's going to move his headquarters. It's a completely different conversation than moving the business lock, stock, and barrel from California to Texas, which candidly I don't think he has any interest in doing. So, okay, let me jump off now. I'm not gonna have a whole thing about this because you can kind of read into how you want. It's up to you. My opinion is that businesses don't people don't come to the San Francisco Bay Area because of work opportunities. Okay. Work opportunities come to the San Francisco Bay Area because people want to live here. Okay. I don't, it's the chicken or the egg, right? Silicon Valley started forming. There's a long, great history on Silicon Valley. I wrote a research paper on this when I was in college about the history of Silicon Valley and how it got started and everything. And the businesses started coming here. Stanford was looking to become the MIT of the West, and Hewlett Packard and all these other companies were getting started here. And so this infrastructure was created for entrepreneurship and Silicon Valley and tech and all of these innovation and all of these things. But then people realized, like, oh, this was great. This is the best weather in the world. Okay. Right now it is July 19th and the temperature outside is frightful. I don't know what that means. Other outside is frightful. And what a wind on me and stuff. About in the 70s, mid 70s. Okay. I was in, the valley and the Sierras and other parts of California, and I've traveled, in different countries all over the US. It's like 80, 90, 100 degrees, humid, and just you can't leave the house and you're just so tired and it's difficult. And it's like San Mateo County right here, the Mid-Peninsula. We call it Redwood City, climate best by government test. San Carlos, city of good living. I don't know what Burlingame, San Mateo's city mottos, but we're in the mid 70s. Okay. We got up to the 80s during the heat wave. This is the best weather in the world. It's never too humid. Okay. I can walk around in this suit all year long. I can walk around without the jacket, just in the shirt all year long. A lot of San Francisco neighborhoods are a little bit colder, especially the west side of the city and the North Peninsula. You get the fog and you get a little bit of the gloominess. And, a lot of people don't like that. I grew up in that. I grew up in the Richmond district, San Francisco, in the gloomy, the frozen tundra of the Mark Twain quote that he never actually said. The coldest winter that I ever experienced was the summer of San Francisco. It's the best weather in the world. Okay, let's just keep it real. It never gets too cold. We don't get snow. It never gets too hot. It doesn't get too humid. And, that says a lot. Even with everything happening with our leadership, with our politics, with our issues, with everything you see on the news, what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into detail about it. With this Elon moving and with this and that and whatever. In addition to the weather, which is a huge thing. It's really, really important. A lot of people want to be able to go outside and not die of heat exhaustion, okay, and not freeze to death, okay, and that you can't say that about most places. So I think our weather is exceptional, okay. In addition to that, the diversity, the culture, the vibe, the life here. I mean, hey, look, again, I've been all over the country and there's great vibes and there's great friendly people and there's just like a great culture all over the world in so many places. And when you sit next to somebody at a bar or at a coffee shop or at a restaurant and you just start talking to them and you're by yourself and you get to know so many cool people from all over the world, you really realize how we're all connected. We're all the same, but we're all different at the same time. But we all just kind of want the same things and we're all into the same things. And even if we disagree about stuff, when you're having a face-to-face conversation with somebody, we're all great people. So I just think that Elon moving, right, and other whatever it was, Oracle, Larry Ellison, and people moving for political reasons, moving their headquarters and companies and all that stuff, whether you agree or disagree with the direction of California and with all of these things, I don't think we're going to become the next Detroit, like people say. Okay. I don't think that's going to happen. I think, things will continue to change and cycles will happen and things will go up and down. So, anyways, I don't think this will have a big effect. That's just my opinion. And you know what? Good for Elon. Let him do his thing. Let him do what he wants to do. All good. I don't think, many employees of SpaceX, Tesla, and X are going to want to stay here, are going to want to be here. And that's that. So, whatever. Anyways, take that with a grain of salt because I don't know stuff about stuff. Next on the docket. Okay, let me make sure I remember to share my screen. So I just want to make it clear. There are 0 live stream guests right now. Nobody's in the chat. This is my first live stream, and I'm pretty much talking to myself. But if you're going to be watching this video later, please don't forget to hit a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to our channel to listen to future live streams. And let's see. Make some comments and leave some feedback and give me your opinions and your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think Elon's announcement of leaving is going to have detrimental effects like on our local economy and kind of lead us towards becoming a Detroit? Do you disagree with me? What are your thoughts? Remember, I'm trying to stay pretty objective and pretty moderate in my approach here and not really go into too much detail and choose one side over another one politically or any of that stuff, because, that's not really what I do. That's not my job, right? I'm a real estate broker and I'm here to give you my perspectives on the day-to-day and what it might affect our local economy and things like that. So anyways, if you have some opinions, I'd love to hear them. Empty offices haunt downtown San Jose, Oakland, San Francisco. Okay, this has been in the news forever. We're not going to talk about this, but it just looks like this was, recently on July 18th. Let's read it. Empty offices haunt the downtown districts of the area's 3 largest cities. A new report shows an indicator that companies and workers still shun the cores of this region's urban centers. During the April through June second quarter of 2024, office buildings were about 1/3 vacant in downtown San Jose, downtown Oakland, and downtown San Francisco. CBRE, a commercial real estate firm, reported. The vacancy rates in the downtown districts of these 3 major cities set all-time highs or equaled record levels during the second quarter, of the CBRE report disclosed. Here are some of the details of the second quarter office vacancy in the urban cores of the 3 cities. San Francisco suffered the worst vacancy rate for its office buildings by far when comparing the 3 downtowns. The San Francisco office vacancy was 36.8 in the second quarter, record high. Downtown Oakland posted 31.8% office vacancy, an all-time high. Why am I getting these ads? Gilead, Trump. Okay, fine. Downtown San Jose experienced a 31.5% office vacancy, which equaled the January through March. Okay, you guys get the point. It's very, very vacant. We're at all-time highs or close to it or whatever that is. So what does that mean? During the pandemic, a lot of people moved away. Okay. I think it was way more tenants than owners. Okay. Just to be frank with you, as far as my own experience, right? My own lived experience communicating with people, speaking with people. It's mostly like, hey, I am not going to rent, okay, a $2,600 1-bedroom apartment in a rundown kind of area, building, right? With dilapidated infrastructure in that area and the building's kind of not in great shape, whatever, when I can buy a brand new house, okay, a brand new house for the same monthly payment in Austin, Texas, right? So I'm giving you an exact example of what somebody else, and then I got people who moved to Atlanta and people who moved to Washington, okay, and people who moved, anyways, everywhere, right? Sacramento even. And it's apolitical, right? Some people moving to more Republican areas and some people moving to more Democrat areas. So it's not really, I didn't really see necessarily a trend related to that. It's more like where maybe they have relatives or friends or somebody already living for some reason. Some people sold. Some people definitely sold their $900,000 million, $1.1 million house, a teacher and a cop and whatever, all those kind of things. So that they could buy their next house all cash and just not have to be so stressed out, right? in the rat race of Silicon Valley, paying 5, 6, 7, 8,000, 10,000 a month in just your house payments and just basic essentials, right? Um, definitely, definitely, definitely. Okay. Now, as slowly, okay, it sounds like a lot of companies are requiring you to come back to work at least 3 days a week. And it's not that slow, actually. And a lot of people are requiring it. And I'm talking to a lot of people, and many people's companies are requiring them to come back to the office. And I'm hearing that. I speak to a lot of people every day. That's my job, is to network and communicate and talk to my clients, check in on my past clients, talk to, my hot leads, my people who are, communicated to me they're thinking about buying or selling, making sure I stay in touch with them. And so, I hear that a lot in the tech world, and not just the tech world, and a lot of different, in finance and medical and biotech and life sciences and all these different industries. You hear a lot of people are um, having to come back to the office. And so, but I think what happened is, you had such, before the pandemic, you had so much office space that was unnecessary, and so many employees that maybe are not as necessary um, now as they were beforehand, right? So we had a lot of layoffs and a lot of scaling down because of, whatever, all the reasons, interest rates and all these kind of things. So we had a lot of tech layoffs and a lot of layoffs in our area. So people just need less employees, less office space, right? They're got too big for their britches, I guess it's some people would say. And so you're getting that pruning, right? You're getting those, the pruning of the trees of the garden, and de-weeding, I guess, right? And so, a lot of layoffs, a lot of people, losing their jobs, and then a lot of office space unnecessary. And you combine that with the crime in the downtowns, okay, the homelessness, and the issues with drug use, open air drug use throughout, and issues with mental health and folks with mental health and issues, and screaming and defecating and urinating and doing drugs and arguing and all these things on the streets that you see regularly. I was born and raised in San Francisco. My grandparents currently live in the heart of the Tenderloin, okay, on O'Farrell and Jones. Um, I've spent a lot of time. I drive through these areas. Some of my favorite restaurants in the world are in a lot of these areas. I don't know what the deal is with the best restaurants, some of the best holes in the wall restaurants, pho places and Vietnamese sandwiches and fried chicken and regular sandwiches and whatever, all these kind of different places, a lot of them, Mediterranean food and things like that, are in the really roughest kind of places. So I spend a lot of time here, and it has an effect on people who are leaving their office for, I don't know, leaving their office for lunch, or going to and from the train, right? Because parking is a B. Going to and from the train or public transportation, or maybe from the parking garage, and walking and getting, attacked or harassed, at least, right? Physically, verbally, by some of these people. It takes a toll, and a lot of people don't want to be there. So are some of these offices that are moving from the downtown centers, the Oakland, the San Francisco, the San Jose, are they moving to other kind of, I guess, more like suburban-ish areas, like the San Mateos and Sunnyvale and Silicon Valley and Cupertinos and the, I don't know, Fremonts and other areas, South San Francisco? Are they moving offices there? Are they doing a lot more work from home? Or they're just less employees, so they just need less space? They don't need as much. Are these effects of the downtowns kind of degenerating? I guess that's a right word. Okay. Recently, you saw that article, right? You all saw the article of the signs in downtown. I think it's Union Square or downtown San Francisco. It'd say, "Do not shoplift more than $950." Like, that's all it says. Okay. So all of these things compound, and I think have an effect. It's not one thing. Okay. Let's just start with that. It's not one thing. It's not simply homelessness and crime are causing people to flee. Okay, it's not just that. That definitely has a major effect. So if you're denying that that has a major effect, right, then you're wrong. Like that's like, please, it's not black and white. It has gray areas, and there are multiple issues at play here, just like every possible thing. Okay. Is it that, hey, the companies got too big and now they need to downsize, that they overspent, that they over leased office space, and then the market turned and interest rates went down and they realized they have too much space and they don't need it, and they're using the downtown San Francisco as an excuse, to leave and blaming that? Yeah, probably there's some of that as well. Okay. So it's all of those things. So long story short, what is my prediction? I think that this is going to be seen as one of the best opportunities to buy office space or lease office space or get into office space or retail space in the downtown San Francisco, downtown Oakland, downtown San Jose, ever of all time. This is our 2008 is coming up for commercial space. I think I'm not in it, but that's what I think. If you have money, and you're a company with money and you are buying, right? Like Wells Fargo sold their building they bought 15 years ago for like 100 million or something. They sold it for like 20 something million. I don't know, right? Like a major loss, right? After owning something for a very long time. That's just unheard of. So, because here's the thing, in reality, like all the crime, all the, all these issues, right? Socioeconomic and mental health and whatever, all of these issues can be solved relatively quickly. Okay. And I'm not going to go into detail, plenty of much smarter, much more detailed. So if you're actually watching this video, I am gathering that you are somebody who's interested in educating yourself and learning, in expanding your horizons and listening and reading and listening to multiple different opinions about things, right? You're not stuck on Fox News all day long. Okay. You're not stuck on MSNBC all day long, right? You're not on those channels if you're listening here. Okay. Which it's okay to watch those things if you're, anyways, whatever. You get the point. So, a lot of smarter people than me have their opinions, but I believe that the problem can be solved within a couple of years, right? And it could be downtown. The downtowns could be safe. They could be thriving. New businesses, small businesses, big businesses, medium-sized businesses could be moving in, right? We can get more CVS's and Walgreens and Starbucks's and local mom and pop coffee shop, local mom and pop markets, supermarkets, and businesses and restaurants and yoga studios and arts and crafts and clay. My wife and daughter, they do clay. They go to a local business here in Bay Meadows, San Mateo, and they make clay. And it's like so cool. There's so many activities in wine and art and all these things that can all come back very, very quickly. It starts with the leadership. That's, when the football team is doing bad, when the 49ers were first place in the draft, meaning they were the worst team, and we got Alex Smith. Hey, guess what? It's like, we didn't get new ownership. We kind of did, because the son, Jed York, kind of took over for the parents, who were just kind of, seems like they were not into it. And Jed York was taking over, and he was very young. He was like 28 years old, I think, when he started. And you changed the leadership. He, had to work through coaches. And hey, guess what? We didn't win the Super Bowl, but we made it to the Super Bowl now 3 times. Okay, so go Niners. I'm still an avid Niner fan. I'm not mad at it. I wish we won at least one of those times, but whatever. Oh, 49ers, please, guys. Oh my God. Downtown San Francisco, downtown Oakland, downtown San Jose is going to come back. If you got money, if you're watching this and you got like, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million bucks to spend, buy yourself some space in downtown, start some businesses, or start getting ready to buy some businesses. Wait, put some money into politics to get people in to our local government's leadership who are going to make the changes necessary to make things happen. You can take that with whatever you want, but that's what we need. So obviously, right? Leadership is responsible. And that's where I was getting at with the 49ers. Sorry, I got stuff in my mouth. I don't know what it is. I didn't eat anything today. So it's like, it's all the talking and all the spitting and I get dry. Sorry, TMI. I like this. I think this is great. If I could actually find people who care about listening to me talk and care about the things that I have to say enough, okay? And I can make money doing this, I would love to just talk. This would be great, man. Can I be, um, you know, Kara Swisher and Scott Galloway? Can I be Joe Rogan? Can I be, what are the other, let me name a bunch of people on all political sides, so that I can, not offend anybody or offend everybody, I guess. Right. But yeah, I'd like to be one of these people because that would be great. Anyway, sorry. You don't care about this. Okay, a few other things, and then we'll be wrapping up here. Okay. Just a couple of little, development stuff here that I really like to talk about, and that's cool and near to my heart. SF Stonestown to become West Side's largest residential development in 50 years. Look, they just got the approval, I guess, long simmering plan to convert Stonestown Galleria from suburban shopping to an urban neighborhood, thousands of units of housing, playgrounds, pedestrian-friendly main drag. See its final approvals from the San Francisco Board of Supervisors on Tuesday. Okay, that's it. I'm going to just stop right there to tell you, because here's a few things. If they make this cute, like, I would love that. That would be so cool. I grew up going to Stonestown. I know Park Merced really well. I went to SF State. Like, I know that area is my home, my nostalgic, my stomping grounds. I know it like the back of my hand. Love it. And it would be so cool if it just grows. So much more housing, so much more, businesses, so much more. Just so cool. Parks, like the whole thing, everything, whole nine. Love that, right? Here's the biggest problem that most of us, who think about these things, right, who know these areas, who are born and raised throughout the San Francisco Bay Area, think about is we don't have the infrastructure to handle it. We don't have the public transportation. We don't have the roads, okay? We don't have anything to be able to handle a huge influx of people moving in here, right? And we already are, so I think with anything that's being developed, I really hope that the civil engineers and the, whoever else, contractors and whoever else is responsible really thinks about, and plans. How are we going to do this? How are we going to increase? Are we going to add more trains? Okay. Are we going to build a new, well, I hear they're going to build a new tunnel on Geary to replace the 38. Okay. That might be all right. 38. That was my go-to bus, man. 38 G block. Geary, nobody called it G block. I just want you to know, except for like me as a kid. The 38, more tunnels, more trains, more, I don't know, ferries going from place to place. We got the bay, but we got to have more ferries, I think, right? Just all of this new construction, all of this building is impeccable. I would love it. It would be so cool to me. It's so cool to me that Mission Bay is this new neighborhood and Dog Patch is like being, built out, and Bay Meadows, here in San Mateo is this big thriving new neighborhood with a lot of cool stuff. It's so cool. I love it. I love progress. I love construction. Okay. I love Eckhart Tolle. I'm big on to give you a little bit of my spirituality side for a second. I love Eckhart Tolle. I love listening. I've reread and listened to The Power of Now multiple times. I love to continue to remind myself to be present in the moment. I struggle with anxiety and panic attacks and depression and all these other mental health disorders, but that's for another day. Just like most people, right? But, I found a lot of help and all that stuff. But one of the things he talks about is the ugliness of the, industrializing buildings and all this stuff. And that's one major disagreement that I have with him. I just find so much beauty in construction and new buildings and roads and businesses and people, because it's like so much like these are the seeds and the little mini trees and plants of human ingenuity and progress and innovation and excitement. And there's nothing more exciting, okay, than I'll give you an example, an avatar here, okay? A Mexican family, right? The son of immigrants, okay? The son of people who were brought here to work on a farm or something in the 40s, 50s, or a grandson of those people, right? Who, whose parents and grandparents worked their butts off and worked like menial labor to do anything to provide a better life for their children. And then this hard work ethic and mixed in with innovation and creativity. And he opens a new fusion, Mexican, California style, but he married a Korean woman. and brings her recipes in for a fusion restaurant in this new neighborhood little storefront. And he's so excited, and his wife's so excited, and their family's like, let's go. There's nothing more beautiful than that in this world, in my opinion. Love that. Love the multiculturalism, the diversity, the excitement, the entrepreneurship, the go-getter attitude, that I will be anything I want to be in this life, and I'm going to do what I love and what I'm passionate about, and feeding people. And then you get somebody like me who comes in there and so excited, and I'm tipping the guy, and I'm like, oh, bring all my friends, and this is brand new and so cool and so creative, and my taste buds are on fire, and I'm a foodie and I love it, and super excited, and everybody's happy. And then he starts and he builds his empire, and he builds a 7th restaurant, and then before you know it, he's wealthy, and he's giving back to the next generation, the community. Like, it's like, God, okay, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand? Love it. It is amazing. And it is just so like touching, and like brings tears to my eyes sometimes when you see this stuff. So personally, when I see new neighborhoods being built and new construction, that's what I'm thinking about. Okay. But, okay, if you do this irresponsibly, and you clog up our roads, right? And you clog up the public transportation system, and you don't responsibly think about a way to build the infrastructure to support the sewers, the police, the first responders, the emergency, like all these different things, this infrastructure. If you're not responsibly thinking about how to do that, and you're just building this new neighborhood, then we have a problem. Okay. So, hey, guess what? I'm super excited. I love it. It's exciting to me. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And it is perfect. Stone Sound Galleria, but rebuild it. But don't forget, is this bad? Should I be right here? Don't forget the importance of building the infrastructure. So it's about, with great power comes great responsibility. Peter Parker's uncle explains. What was his name? God, I forgot. Okay. Hope you're enjoying this so far, because I am. I'm having a blast. There's like, so far, the most number of viewers I've had has been 2. Okay. At once. There's one person here right now. I don't know. See, I can't even see who it is. Hit me in the chat, please, so that I can see who you are. Say hello. It's probably my mom. I don't know who else would watch me talk for an hour. But yeah, that's what I got for you. Okay, and then last one, SF's candlestick. Same thing. Hey, look, let me do the screen share. SF's Candlestick Point Revive project to redevelop SF's waterfront is changing. Okay. So Candlestick was the San Francisco 49ers home. Okay. Has a special place in all of our hearts. So many great memories. Fantastic. Though it's stalled and San Francisco shipyard project remains in limbo, developer 5 Point Holdings has shared a modified plan and timeline for an adjacent project that's just critical of the city's mega waterfront redevelopment plan. What I'm going to do is, thanks. So this side of the city right here, okay, the waterfront towards the bay, okay, is some of the best weather in the city, okay, because you get all the clouds and all the, all the whatever happens with Pacific Ocean bringing clouds in from here. I don't know, meteorologists or whoever will explain that to you, but it's like foggy on this side, right over here. And then over here, it starts getting sunny. The fog dissipates and it gets all nice and everything. So towards the bay is the best weather in the city. Well, depends who you're asking, but it's great and sunny and nice. Okay. Now, the shipyards used to be here, and this was kind of the forgotten side of the city, where, it's a lot of like warehouses and the shipyards, and they bring stuff in, and, and a lot of, let's say, the lower priced neighborhoods, right, of single family homes and stuff like that. So what we're seeing is they're trying to revitalize or whatever, bring to life or kind of make these more, destination neighborhoods. I think that's the proper way to say that, right? So make these a little bit more destination, because it would be really cool that, like, as a kid, there's not really anything I would come to this side of the city for. Okay. I grew up basically along here. That's where I live, like between here, we'll go right here. You go to downtown, you go to the Mission, you go do stuff here, you go to the Sunset, do stuff. West Portal's nice. Like, you go around the city, kind of the outskirts of the city. there wasn't, there's not really, I don't go furniture shopping there. We go furniture shopping over here. I get my haircut here in the local neighborhood. You go to downtown shopping for clothes or whatever here, or the local Payless is where I got my shoes. Those are good enough. No, my God. I would see a kid wearing Chuck Taylors, and I'm like, Grandma, I want those, in Russian. She's like, oh yeah, same. I get same. We'll go to Payless and get the cheap version of the Chuck Taylors that were like $12. And I'm like, these are not the same. She's like, yeah, they are. Shut up, get them and go. So, anyways, there's that for you. Immigrant mentality. Well, we didn't have any money, so I can't blame her. But now I get my own Chuck Taylors. So, this side of the city is being slowly developed. So you got Mission Bay, and that's really Chase Center is there. And by the way, UCSF and all this stuff, all this is being developed. Okay. And then you got Bayview, Hunters Point, and this whole area. And this is the shipyards. And, they started developing the shipyards, but hey, guess what? This was very toxic area because of the shipyards, because of what they did here. I don't know exactly all of it, but it's very toxic. And the Navy was working there, and they said they cleaned it up, and they didn't really clean it up, and they lied, and they gave falsified samples, and they built all these new developments. And this is one of the highest cancer rates in the world, right? And keep in mind, this is a predominantly African-American neighborhood. So you got some redlining and racism and pushing people towards like the contaminated areas of the city. So, you can read all about that history. It's quite a bit. And it's kind of dark and not good and whatever. But so read about that. Again, I won't go into a lot of detail with that. But Archimedes Banya, that's my local Banya. But okay, great. I like the idea of them revitalizing it, building more infrastructure, doing all this stuff, but it's all toxic and contaminated. So they stalled the building, but they still built lots of townhomes and condos that I know several people who bought it in that area, and they didn't use me. So, I guess that's what I probably would have guessed that, no, I'm just kidding. There would be no way that I know that it would be contaminated and all that stuff. So anyways, they are working on cleaning it up and getting it really cleaned up and double testing and triple testing, and hopefully they can build that out. And here's Candlestick, and they've been talking about doing stuff with this, and they've been flip-flopping, and it was going to be, retail and office space and residential, and now it's going to be, residential and life sciences and biotech and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, same thing, infrastructure. Okay, we got the freeways here. The freeways get clogged up. Okay, what about people who will be working here but maybe living over here? Can we get some more ferries? I don't know. Can we get another tunnel somewhere here? Public transportation? Can we get more buses? More, all these things. So I just want to make sure that whatever they build and all the homes and everything is going to be so beautiful, so exciting, going to be so great, best weather in the world, beautiful views of the bay, and so much stuff to do. And it's going to be great. And the diversity and helping to, spruce up and improve some of these other neighborhoods and help, historically Black neighborhood, okay, African-American neighborhood, and historically like Latin neighborhood and all this kind of stuff. Before that, it was like Irish, Italian, and whatever else. When they build out these neighborhoods, what I want to see is the native population, the people who have lived here for 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, the people whose grandparents worked at the shipyards, for them to be able to partake in the economic development, okay, for their businesses to get more clients, okay? That's what I see, entrepreneurship. As an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, I see the importance of having a small business and what effect that does for your family, for your legacy, for your children, for your grandchildren, for your siblings, for your aunts and uncles, for your parents, the pride, the finances, all this stuff. So I want to see these small business owners in these neighborhoods, right, benefit from whatever's being built and not replaced. Okay. That's the most important thing. If you just come in here and you gentrify and replace, that's what people get mad at. Right? Instead, they need to share in these profits. They need to share in the economic development. They need to be able to afford to buy homes in where they grew up. They need to be able to afford to remodel and rebuild these homes where they grew up. Okay. Where we grew up, we as San Franciscans. Okay. All of us, right? This is now all of us mixed in. We need to partake in the economic development, not get replaced by people, right? That moving from somewhere else that can afford it, and we can't afford it anymore. And now we get displaced and have to move somewhere far away from our home. Okay. So that should be the case, and that should be at the forefront of all of this development. So I'll leave you with that. That's my political opinion, or whatever. I don't think that's political. I think it's just a moral opinion of like, hey, so many of us were born and raised in San Francisco, grew up in these neighborhoods, and as our economy develops and as new development, as new economic prosperity starts coming, we all need to partake and we all need to grow. Rising tides should be lifting all ships, right? Not sinking some, and big cruise ships swallow up the small fishermen. No, that's not what we need to be doing. So now it's been about an hour. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope, I don't think anything I said was controversial. I mean, it's really just local. Yeah, I don't think that's controversial. If you find that controversial, then let me know in the comments why it is. And, if you have a point that you can make, I'm always listening. You always got to be open to hearing different perspectives, and then you learn something new and you get shown a blind spot that you didn't know you had. Anyways, thank you all. I really appreciate the 1 to 2 to maybe 3 people who watch this live stream. Really appreciate it. Whoever's going to be watching this video, hey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment, share. Let me know what your thoughts were, and I'll see you next week. Thanks again.